Greetings, my beautiful people. Welcome to today's lesson. So today we are going to discuss part of paper 2 of agricultural economics, agricultural sciences, grade 12. We will look into agricultural economics. However, we only going to look at just one topic for today. Look, there's a lot to cover in agricultural economics, and remember, this consists of about 100 marks of your paper 2, because the other 50 marks is for genetics, but the 100 marks, both for section A and section B, is agricultural economics. So today we will discuss agricultural marketing functions. However, before we get into the four main functions of marketing, I want us to look at the concept of agricultural marketing itself. So if we're talking about marketing, we're talking about identifying people's needs and desires and determining how these can be satisfied. Therefore, agricultural marketing refers to the actions that producers of agricultural products. Now, who are these producers of agricultural products? These are farmers. Now, what about these actions? They take them to make retailers as well as consumers aware of the product and also be able to access the products from the agricultural sector. So we've got key players here, the retailers and consumers, which represent the demand side of marketing, and also the agricultural producers and their products, which represent the supply side of the marketing. So let's look into the differences now between marketing and selling. So we have already defined marketing. Now let's look into selling. Now, basically, when we're talking about selling, this means to give something in exchange of money. That's all it means. Now, when it comes to the differences between the two, if we look at selling is more about the product. So it's product orientated, but marketing is profit orientated. How do you grow your business? How do you make your customers aware of your business? And marketing has got long-term plans. However, with selling, there is a short-term objective, which is basically to sell the product. With marketing, there is emphasis on consumer needs and satisfaction. But with selling, the needs and satisfaction of the customers are often neglected. Now, if they have to satisfy these needs, marketing has to be involved in selling of this product. Now, also, again, with marketing, there will be different departments working together to ensure that this product or this produce or the producers themselves are marketed. So they will play together to ensure they achieve this role. However, with selling, it will only be the sales department that is dealing with that. It doesn't involve other departments. And also, the costs are reduced to achieve maximum sales and profit. However, with marketing, there is a need to be innovative, especially with technology, because technology changes every time. Now, there are four main functions in agricultural marketing. Agricultural marketing performs four main functions. These include transport, storage, packaging, as well as processing. These are the main functions, and this is what you are going to be tested on when it comes to your final examination. So let's look at the transport. So when it comes to this function, if you see any mode of transportation on your exam, and then the question, maybe you see a truck moving, and the question asks you, which main function in agricultural marketing is this one? Obvious the idea, because that is transport. You may say transportation. However, if the question is specific, or it excludes now transportation, you also need to read your questions clearly. So when we're talking about transportation now as the main function, transport itself bridges the gap between producers, manufacturers, and consumers. So what does this mean? We will need transport to move the produce to the retailers. We will need transport to move produce from the farmer to the consumers, or from the farmers to the storage, from the farmers to the manufacturers or the processors, right? Now, the choice of transport is determined by various things. For instance, the distance that is involved, the costs that are involved, the nature of the product that is being transported, and also the speed of the delivery that is required. Because you need to note that some of the produce, they will need the driver to drive at a very low speed. So those are the things that are involved. And the challenges may include the expenses and the difficulty of transporting perishable products, right? So basically, when we're talking about transportation as a function, marketing function, we are basically talking about moving the produce from the farmer to the market. Basically, that's it. Now, coming to the storage. Now, after the product has moved from the farmer, it's either it goes straight to the retailers or the consumers, or it needs to be stored. Now, this function is performed by warehouse owners, cold storage owners, manufacturers, wholesalers, and some of the retailers, and also some of the cooperative societies. So maybe you're asking yourself now, why is this function so important? One, storing food, or rather agricultural products, ensures that the products remain fresh. It maintains the quality of agricultural products. It bridges now the time between production and purchasing of this product. It also ensures that there is continuous supply of agricultural products, and it ensures that prices stay constant to prevent oversupply, or rather the shortage of goods. Then we have packaging, the third function, the third main function, right? Now, with packaging, one, packaging should protect, contain, deliver, and display the product in a way that appeals the customer. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of packaging the product? What are the steps involved? Let's get into that. Now, the steps that are involved includes designing different forms of packaging. Before you choose your best, you have to design different forms. Then you choose your design. Then you choose the material that you want to use and the color that will match your product, and also what the whole brand is all about. Then now you also need to include labels. The last step now that is important is the issue of trademark. Now you need to protect your brand. You need to protect your brand. You need to protect your designs and all that. So this is where trademark comes in. Then the advantages now of packaging. One, packaging improves shelf life. It gives the product an appeal. Also, it advertises now your trademark. It advertises the brand. So now I want us to look at the forms of packaging. There are 3 forms of packaging. There is what we call primary, secondary, as well as tertiary packaging. So when we look at the primary packaging, this is the direct sell to the consumers. For example, tomatoes are packed in small packets for sale. However, with secondary packaging, this involves the packaging of sales units. For example, the pockets of tomatoes are then further packed in cardboard boxes for transportation as well as handling. Then we've got tertiary packaging. Now, this involves the grouping of secondary packed units to further facilitate the handling as well as transportation. For example, now, the boxes of tomatoes are now packed in a wooden pallet. So primary will just be packaging now the small packets of tomatoes for sale, just only for sale. However, with secondary now, we're taking these small packets, we put them in cardboard boxes so that we can move them to the market. Then tertiary means taking now this secondary package into wooden pallets, for example. Right. Now, the guidelines for packaging are, 1, your packaging should improve shelf life. The materials that are used should be environmentally friendly and either are biodegradable or recyclable. However, they should also be strong and easy to handle. The container should be suitable for the product. The product should fit well in the container. So you must not squash your products inside the container. Also, it should have its own identity and strong sales appeal. The other important thing is that the package should be appropriately designed for the target market, right? Also, there should be a variety to suit both bulk packages as well as small packages. Now, coming to the last main function of agricultural marketing, which is called processing. This is also called value adding. Now, processing involves changing an agricultural product from its original form, or rather from its raw form, or in a consumable product, right? Now, there are 2 forms of processing. So when we process a product, we do this either to increase its utility value or to keep the quality and also increase the shelf life, right? So there are 2 forms of processing. These are called indigenous processing as well as agro-processing. When we are talking about indigenous processing, we are talking about changing the original form or the original product into a consumable product using indigenous knowledge, or rather traditional practices. Then we've got agro-processing. Now, this is the conversion now of raw materials to make it more consumable and to increase its value. So this may take place in the agric industries and also may involve milling, blending, cutting, as well as fermenting. So, guys, processing basically means that taking a raw product and change it in a way that is consumable. Now, for example, we take mealies or corn, dry it up, and then process it into maize meal. Now we are changing this mealies into maize meal, right? Now, the advantages as well as disadvantages of processing, there are advantages as well as disadvantages. Now, with advantages, processing improves the quality of the product. It adds value to the product. It increases shelf life and also increases the appeal of the product. It solves the oversupply of wastage and ensures that there is a reduction of wastage. It ensures that there is continuous supply of food and also at the same time creates job opportunities for other people. Then disadvantages, however, sometimes there will be a difficulty. Now, as a producer, there will be a difficulty to access capital for new industries, and also new products now may compete with existing or the well-established products that are already in the market. And sometimes the business owners may lack experience and expertise when it comes to this product they are processing. So yes, that's it for this lesson. Now I want us to look at few questions, possible questions, or from the past question paper that you can be asked in relation to this topic. So now let's look at this. A farmer sells peaches. So this is the statement that you are given. A farmer sells peaches in different sizes to suit the preferences of customers. The table below shows how peaches are placed in boxes after harvesting. Okay, so now we've got the size and appearance of peaches, we've got the class, we've got the size of the box, and we've got the number of peaches per box. So now we've got class 1, which includes big, ripe, smooth, and peaches with no bruises. Now, per box, we've got about 18 peaches. Then we've got class 2, where we have medium peaches that are not ripe, that some of them are not ripe, and also they've got few bruises. And in this box, it's the same box, we've got 24 peaches. Then we've got small peaches now that are ripe and mostly bruised, right? Now, this is the third class, and in this box, we have 30 peaches. So now let's look what the examiners are looking for, right? Now, name the marketing function of this. Name the marketing function referred to the table above, right? The second question says, state 2 factors used in grading of peaches. The third question, identify the factor that could hamper marketing of peaches in the table above. The last question, briefly describe 3 advantages of processing of these peaches. Okay, I hope you have noted that down. Now, let's look into our answers. Now, the marketing function that is referred to there is packaging. And the factors that are used in grading of these peaches, if you look at that table, it's clear. So it's either the size or appearance of the peaches, or the weight, basically, and also the bruising and smoothness. Is it the characteristics of this particular cultivar of the peaches? Is it the ripeness or color? So there was 2 marks there. So any 2 You'll be given mark if you answer any two of these answers that we have provided here. Now, identify the factor that could hamper the marketing of these pitches. So now, if you notice, class 3 were small pitches. They were already ripe, and also most of them were bruised. Now, what does this mean? One, the size, because these are small pitches, for example. So what does this mean? The size could be one of the factors that could hamper the marketing. Also, because most of them are bruised, that could be another factor. And again, the spoilage now, because most of them are already ripe already. Okay, now briefly describe 3 advantages of processing of pitches. Now, the advantages, one, it goes back to the advantages now of processing. So you don't have to focus on pitches, but rather focus on processing, right? For processing as a main function of agricultural marketing. Okay, now the products are available throughout the year. We will also mention that it prevents wastage and also prevents spoilage, and also it increases shelf life. So those are the 3 advantages that you can give. You can also give other advantages that we have mentioned before. So you can be asked different questions relating to these 4 different main functions. However, the idea or the trick here, ensure you understand each function clearly, understand the advantages and disadvantages, be able to analyze the question. Because, for instance, on this one, with packaging, with packaging now, you are told, because the table that you have here, it has different classes. It has a certain criteria that is used. So immediately that tells you, because you are not moving products there from a farmer to the market. So it's not transport. And also you are not changing now these pitches into another product. So that is not processing, right? And also, you are not storing them in a warehouse or a cold room. So the only remaining main function there is packaging, right? And also, you need to know factors that are involved in that main function. But most importantly, again, disadvantages as well as advantages, and that's what is asked in this question. You were asked disadvantages in the 3rd question, just 1 disadvantage, and also an advantages, 3 marks. So that is easy, 3 marks. That is easy 7 marks that you can score. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you appreciate this lesson. The next topic will be price determination as well as supply and demand.